And I was just thinking back when I worked at a giantly publicly traded news company and interviewed you for the first time. You're a democratically elected leader of a European nation, and it was considered controversial to interview you because your ideas were considered eccentric, and they included emphasis on the middle class and families. They included, above all, secure borders, serving your citizens before you serve foreigners. And that was all considered super radical and dangerous. And I wonder if you feel vindicated years later by watching what happened to the rest of Europe when they didn't follow those simple ideas.
So now we lost all the real attraction, what we have done previously, and Donald Trump take away all the attraction of the international politics, you know. So we have done something for 15 years in Hungary, in headwind, liberal headwind, stopping migration, defending traditional values, respecting religious communities, no Green Deal, low taxation, so everything which is unorthodox in the mind of the liberals. So we were a kind of hero. We were a kind of island of difference in the liberal ocean. But now, unfortunately, Donald Trump taking over everything. So yeah, just sitting and try to follow him now. This is a totally new reality, and that's, may I say, very much helpful to Hungary, because I try to make some jokes on how the last 15 years was, but it was serious. So when you have one boot from the United States on your chest and one from Brussels, European Union, trying to kill you and to deliver evidences that that way of government and governance cannot work, it's difficult to survive. So now we remember back in a happy way, but that was very serious. So now at least one boost is out. The Americans not anymore on our chest, not kneeling on our chest. So it's an appeasement. So we think that life is happy, and it will be even happier when we sweep away the Brazilian bureaucrats and the other boost is down. That's the plan.
I remember one of your advisors telling me years ago, whispering to me at dinner, that the U.S. government, the State Department, and agencies like USAID were working against you, funding your opposition indirectly, and really trying to subvert democracy in your country, and thinking, boys, can that be true? It turns out now it is true. And I wonder when the rest of us are going to get details on what exactly the State Department did to end democracy in Hungary.
So first of all, I think those who love conspiracy theories are in trouble. They have to find new ones because the old one proved to be true. So that's the first, probably.
It's a massive problem in the United States, yeah.
The second is that, it's a taxpayer money.
Yes.
So if we take it, this whole thing not as a political one, but rather as a moral issue, the fact is that the liberal elite of the West used the taxpayers' money of United States citizens to spread their ideology all around the world, and financed in Hungary more than 60 NGOs, paid politicians, media outlets. So it was a plot against our sovereignty and independence. Sorry, made by you.
I know.
Sorry, but this is the case, and the same has happened from the Brazilian budget, which is even more scandalous, may I say, because we pay the money in the Brazilian budget, and they finance our enemies at home. So what's going on? So this is the liberal deep state, the global liberal deep state, and now we see how it has operated.
It raises a deep question of motive. Why would anyone want to spread, deadly ideas like open borders or transgenderism? Hey, how about no grandchildren for you? How about, nobody reproduces anymore? What would be the motive for spreading poison like that?
We should be not naive, I think so. One motivation is always money. So that was a way how the American Democrats thought they can open the gates for their business activity. If they change the governments which insisting on having sovereignty and standing and fight for themselves, it's more difficult to find business possibilities for those speculators. Soros is a Hungarian guy. George Soros kind of speculators can find easier way to generate money and to make profit on your economy. So that's the number one motivation. But the second one, don't forget that leftists are always ideologically driven. And they believe certain things, which for us sounds crazy, even embarrassing, frightening. But they believe it. In Europe, probably it's difficult to understand, but I'm sure that the leaders of the left in Western Europe deeply convinced that if they let the migrants in, which are basically Muslims, poor Muslim persons, and let them to be combined with the traditional Christian society, and they manage a kind of integration, the outcome of this whole process will be a better and happier society. And that's the reason why George Soros published his plan. It was signed by himself, saying that the European Union should let 1 million migrants every year to move to Europe. And then, I always said that it belongs to the decision of the national government. So if the Germans or the French would like to make that historical research project, how to improve their society, let's do it. But let us, those who do not believe that the outcome will be a good thing, not to do that. So Hungary never tried to educate anybody how a society could be better or worse. We always said that, guys, let us to make our own decision. And to let migrants in or keep them out, it's exclusively belonging to our nations as a decision. So don't force us from Brussels or from Washington that migration is good, and those who are not let the migrants in definitely must be bad guys. So this is unacceptable. But that was the thing. But Donald Trump changed the mindset of the West. I think this is the key issue. So probably Donald Trump, president, will change the geopolitics as well. I hope so anyway. But he already made a huge change in the mindset of the political thinking of the West. Previously, they said migration is good, to resist to migration is bad. Now it's just the opposite. To defend your interest is good, migration, illegal migration especially, is bad. Then on the Green Deal, they said green is good, economic competitiveness does not count. Now it's obvious that economic competitiveness first and green issues just the second. And then on religious communities and values, Christianity in our case, it was said that it belonged to the Middle Age. They made us ridiculous several times, making jokes on us and so on. But now the president said it's a respectful thing. The community of the believers must enjoy respect, which is good for our society. Or then family in the West, the mindset was that family is also belonging to the past, and other configuration of living together persons is preferable. Now it's back. Traditional values are better than this whole thing. And gender, which is a crazy gender propaganda, now it's publicly said it's bad. To defend traditional values is good. And war. In Europe in the last 3 years, it was said always that war is good, peace is bad, concerning Ukraine-Russia war. So those who argued in favor of peace and peace negotiations and communication said, you are bad guys. The good guys are who are arguing in favor of war. So now it's totally changed. So Donald Trump, president, already changed the mindset of the whole Western world. That's where we are at this moment, and it's very good for Hungary.